Welcome to Art. My name is Mr. Schmidt. Raise your hand if you knew that already. Hey kids, welcome back to Mr. Schmidt's Creepy Basement. We're here to do something a little bit more complicated today. It's a kind of a technical skill. We're going to make tessellations. So a tessellation is like tiles that connect together without any gaps or negative space. And that's basically what we're thinking about as like puzzle pieces where every piece is the exact same and fits together. So my tessellation looks like this. So you can see it's kind of a math thing. There are patterns. All of these shapes are the exact same thing. So when I say that all the pieces kind of fit together and there are no gaps, the part that kind of sticks out here is the part, and this yellow piece is the part that kind of sticks in with the green piece. So all these things are kind of the same. I did some fancy stuff with my shading and my coloring here, but this is a tessellation. It looks a little bit complicated. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that kind of step by step right now. Okay, so what you're gonna need, first, a pencil or something to write with. The next thing you're gonna need is a ruler because you're going to need to cut out a square. So the square is going to be your stencil. And that's the thing, that's the shape that you're going to be moving around your paper. So it's gonna be helpful if that square is something a little bit more rigid than just a regular piece of printer paper or something like that. So I cut out my square from a delicious box of club crackers, something like that. So you're gonna need a square. Measure out your square. Mine is 3 inches by 3 inches. If you have a bigger piece of paper, you could go 4 or 5. The smaller your square is, going to be the harder it is going to be to cut with. But 3 inches I found was a good size. You're also going to need some tape, some scissors, and a piece of paper to put your shapes on. So take a second to get the stuff that you need. I'll wait right here. Okay, now that you got your stuff, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take your square and we're going to label the top with an A and one of the sides with a B. I'm going to label the top with an A. I'm going to label the side with a B. If you can see that. Then I'm going to take my A side. I'm going to make an arrow that goes down to the bottom. I'm going to take my B side, and it's going to go across to the other side. So what you should be looking at is kind of a T with an A on the top and a B on the side. So our next step, we're going to be working on our A side, and I'm going to start in the corner, and I'm going to work my way around to the other corner. And what I want to do is kind of make one line, just make it kind of a little bit interesting. Maybe it's got one little kind of point to it there. So I'm going from one corner down and around to the other corner. So it kind of looks like an upside down mountain. Okay. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to make sure that I start again right in that corner, and I'm going to cut along my line. And make sure that I end in the corner there too. So you see that piece will fit right in there. And our goal is to take this A side and slide it along the arrow and tape it on the other way so that this point matches that point. Because if I flip it the other way and I tape it going the opposite, it's not going to work. And if I flip it if I'm taping it on any other side, it's not going to work either. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to make sure that it fits right in there, just so it makes that square. And then I'm going to slide it to the other side, match up my corners, and put some tape on it. So I've got my tape on my A side. I'm sliding it across, matching up my corners, and putting my piece of tape on there so that it fits. Okay, so my next step is going to be to work on my B side. So again, I'm going to start right here in the corner. I'm going to go around my B, and I'm going to end up on the opposite corner. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go, this one's going to be a little bit wavier and make it nice and simple, kind of some hills, if you can see that there. Going one way. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut again right along that line. And I ended right up in my corner there. So if I fit this one, it's going to make that other side of that square. Fitting it just together so that it slides along that arrow. And I'm going to tape it one more time so that my corners are going to match. So that this bigger hill on this side is going to match up with that bigger hill on this side. Again, if I'm flipping it over, it's not going to work. If my corners aren't matched up, it's not going to work either. So I'm going to match it up, put a piece of tape on there, and I'll be ready to go. So I'm all taped up here. Before I put it onto my piece of paper, I want to check one more thing, that I can still see my arrows and that I can still see the A and the B that I wrote. And that's going to tell me that my shapes should be all in the right spot, that I didn't flip anything over, because it's really important that things are going to be sliding right along that arrow, right along this arrow, so that I've got my A and my B still showing. So if I've got my stencil, if I've got my shape, I'm ready to put it onto my piece of paper. And however it is that you want to start your first one, it's going to be a little bit more complicated if you're crooked like this. It's going to be a little bit easier for you if you're kind of straight up and down, but that's going to be totally up to you. The point is, from now on, as soon as you put your first shape down, you are only sliding it. You're not picking it up, you're not flipping it around, you're sliding it up and down, you're sliding it side to side so that these pieces fit into the next pieces. So I'm going to take my shape, I'm going to trace it around the outside carefully so that I don't move my stencil. Because that's another important thing too. If you're moving your stencil as you're tracing it around the outside, your shape isn't going to match the other side when you go to fit the other part into it. So if I've got one side, I'm gonna slide this piece down. I'm not gonna pick it up. I'm gonna move it so that I can see this shape exactly the same all the way around. So when I match my A side, this part will fit right into the bottom of the shape that I just drew. So one more time, I'm going to take this, I'm going to slide it down, match that top part of my A piece right into the bottom of the piece that I just traced. And that way, I don't need to trace that top part again because I've already done it on the bottom of the shape that I just traced. I'm going to go these three sides, holding my shape still as I go around. So when I pick it up, slide it, I've got two shapes now that fit right into each other. So I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to do these. Top one, I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. So I've got my first column done when I get this one done. So I've got the skipping this top part because I already did that one. I'm not going to do that one again. And I know that I've got some more up here, so what I'm going to do is take my shape, I'm going to slide it all the way to the top, fit that so that it goes in up there. If you can't see that, I'm going to try that one more time. I'm going to take this last piece, I'm going to slide it all the way up to the top, match that in there together, and not trace the top because I've already done that part. I'm going to go right to the edge of my paper, and on this side, right to the other side. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and probably 5 if you want to count that last one too. The bottom part that I did over this way. So I've got one column done. And I haven't picked up my shape yet. I've just slid it up and down. So my next step is going to be to take it and slide it to the right or the left. So I'm gonna go to the left this time, and I'm gonna slide it so that this side of my stencil matches the left side of the first shape that I drew. So one more time, if I'm going to put my stencil right on top of it, I'm going to slide it over and match it up there. And then I'm not going to trace that one side because I've already done it. I'm going to go right up to the corner there and then go down to the bottom. Tracing it this way, making sure that I don't move my stencil. And don't forget that I've got this little piece over here that's going to help things kind of stick together. If I don't remember to trace that one, it's going to mess up my pattern later on too. So I'm going to take this one side and then I'm going to slide it on down. I'm going to match the top and the side, and these are two pieces that I don't need to trace anymore because I already did it. And that means I'm only going to trace the bottom and the side. I'm going to slide it one more time, match the top, match the side, trace the bottom, trace the side. And then I can't forget about this top part up here. I might be good, but I'm just going to check it one more time. So if I take this, slide it on up, match my bottom, match the side, and I see this side needs just a tiny little bit. So now I've got two columns to work with. I'm going to take my piece, my stencil, one more time, match it up with one of these other parts. I'm going to slide it on over, match my side, the left side of my stencil with the right side of that first shape that I drew. I don't need to go over that one anymore, so I'm going to go on this side. I'm going to go to the top and the bottom, and it looks like I'm not going to need to do anything else over on this side. If I match this part up, and I see it, I don't see any paper underneath that. If you can see it, I don't see any paper underneath that, so I'm going to slide it on down, match the top, match the side, and trace. I slide it one more time down at the bottom, match up the top, match up the side. I've got one more little piece to trace down here. So what we're looking at is my tessellation, my new one that I just made, where all the pieces are the exact same. They all kind of slide in, they all fit in with each other. There's no negative space, there aren't any gaps in between any of these things. They're all the same, and I've made a tessellation pattern. So that's it, and that's how you do your tessellation. Once you've got everything traced, the next step is just to get some color on it. I took a sharp marker, I traced over my pencil lines, and then added crayon to mine. If you have paints at home or pastels or something like that, you can color yours however it is that you want to finish up your artwork. So the rest is going to be up to you. All right, everybody, that is a tessellation. I know things kind of get a little bit complicated in here. Feel free to go back and watch the video, pause it when you need to. Just remember that you are sliding your shapes always. You're not taking anything up, you're not flipping it over, otherwise your pieces aren't going to quite fit together and you're going to run into some problems. So have fun and good luck, and don't forget to show me your pictures when you're done. I'd love to see it. Hope you're having a great time and have a wonderful rest of your day.